Okay, hello everyone. I'm Barb Owen and I'm so glad you're here on a Friday. Sorry, I was just setting a little something in my computer. So glad you're here on a Friday in the Creating Faces arena. And actually, we are going to even see a face today. Let me just test my chat. Make sure we're good to go there. We're good to go. Okay, so it's Friday. It's the middle of the hot summer here, which hasn't been too horribly hot. We've had a ton and a half of rain. I mean, a ton and a half. But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty nice around here. Unusually cool for this time of year. So, hey Jan, how's Mr. Bear doing? Nice to see you today. We got a group coming in here. That's great. Great. Yeah, super. Got a good group coming in. It's just taking a little bit for everybody to get here. Let me say, let me just say a blanket hello to everyone. I'm so glad you're here. And there's Troublemaker. Miss Troublemaker's here, whom I may have to... Gina, how in the world are you? I haven't seen you in ages. Again. You're knitting? Oh, wow. Mardee's here. Mardee's in the house. Mr. Bear says hi. Is Mr. Bear busy holding Misty? I have a feeling that Mr. Bear has competition for that kitty duty now. Anyway, so if you're watching this on a recording, I'm talking to a live chat, which is going on simultaneously with the broadcast and the recording. So if you hear me interacting with people and chatting with various personalities, they're the friends in the box, as Dee Dee refers to them as the fibs, the friends in the box, which I think is a great name. Hot Sun in the house. He appears to be in the house. Clausman's not here. Clausman's out working. So yeah. Anyway, it's a crazy group, crazy day. Hopefully we get to have some fun today. I think we will. So let me see. Just reading the chat for a minute. Big part of our normal audience is in Maryland at the MyTags Institute, Maritime Institute of Technology and something else. I don't remember what the rest of it stands for. I've been there once, but I don't remember what it stands for. Anyway, they are getting together and they are there having a great time. They're doing art with Paula and Patty, and they're just doing all kinds of good stuff. So that's fun for them. This morning I watched APG Jamie's latest video. If you don't subscribe to Artist Poet Girl's YouTube channel, you really should, because she does funny. She does funny better than about anybody does funny, you know? So Artist Poet Girl, that is our Jamie. I got so much stuff on my desk today. I'm telling you, I'm trying to part the waters, make some room. Eileen's remaking Smart. Well, I'll be darned. I'm going to have to check that out. All right. So I have a couple things to show you. I went out to Soul Sentiments last night. Oh, I was going to show you the book too. Pardon me while I go get the book. I meant to have available. Book club was last night. We started a new book, and so I thought I'd show it to you because it was not a book that I had seen before. It wasn't one that I was familiar with. And so I thought, well, I'll show it to you. So maybe some of you guys haven't seen it before. Whoops. Get in the right place. Hi, JZ. Nice to see ya. So this is the book that we're going to be doing in book club for the next couple of weeks. Well, a couple of months probably. It's called Adventures in Mixed Media Art. It is, as I said, it's not one that I'm familiar with. It's Create Your Perfect World, Inspiration, Techniques, and Projects for Painting, Collage, and More, edited by Amy Jones. It's one of those collaborative books, and it has different artists in it. It only has 4 chapters in it, which is interesting. Let's see if I can get to the chapters so I can show them to you. Here you go. Here are the chapters. Making the most of your creative energy, discover your signature style, refine your style, repurpose your art, shared mixed media, if I could read it would help. Share mixed media with the world. And so it's a pretty interesting book. I'll let you know more about it as I get into it. But it's got some fun little artsy things in it. Declaration of enthusiasm, and it's one of those books that has kind of journaling spots in it, things that it makes you, the goal is to make you think. If you don't like to think, then you don't want to do this. Yeah, you don't want to do this if you don't want to think. But anyway, it's I think it's going to be inspirational. Interesting. So this is Discover Your Signature Style, and that's an interesting process to discover your own style. I think it's a great challenge for lots of people to find a style. I don't think I have a style. Maybe you guys think I have a style. I like to do so many different kinds of things that I don't know that I have a style. Do you guys think I have a style? This has foil. Yes, it has foil involved. It's not tin foil. It is foil from 10 Second Studio, I believe. Yeah, a sheet of aluminum from 10 Second Studio. So that's what is shown there. Interesting that I did some stuff with metal recently, and then that shows up again. So anyway, scraping backgrounds and different kinds of things. Tea bags. This is Mary Beth Shaw's work. This is interesting. I think this is pretty interesting. I'm curious about how this is going to be. Obscured Collage, it was called. So anyway, that is Mixed Media, Adventures in Mixed Media Art. Yeah. Eileen says 10 second studio foil is great. I've heard of it, but I have not used it before. Yes, I have a style. What style am I, Meg? Someone do tell. I've been working today, so I'm a little need to keep drinking, keep my throat going so I can keep talking. Yeah, it does look fun, doesn't it? And I picked up a couple of stencils last night. This is one of Julie Fafen Balzer's stencils, and the reason I got this, I think all of these 12x12s out there are $7.50 is what she charges for them. The reason I like this particular stencil is you get these little sections like this, these little sections of patterns. Now, if you buy the Balzer bits, which are about this size, you pay about $4 a piece. So any way you slice it, this is, a less expensive way to do it, although, they're you don't have the individual pieces. The name of the book again. Hi, Miss Miko. There's the book. Sorry, I keep bending over because stuff's on the floor. Yeah. Is Colleen here? Hey, Colleen. I'm not going to gross you out today. I'm not cooking. Yesterday, in case you guys, some of you weren't here, I had you in my kitchen and I was cooking a lentil stew, and Colleen came and Colleen and Eileen were there, and I tried to get them to go away. Because I said, I'm going to gross you out. But no, Colleen stayed there and gagged through the whole thing. And vegetables. Vegetables were involved, I'm just saying. Yeah. Okay, so that's the book. Got it? Got it. Okay. So moving on. So this is the stencil, and I just think it's interesting to have all these little patterns. And what's really nice about these little patterns, I love to use these little bits and pieces in these small scales. Like I have this in a 12 by 12. It's big, really big. Eileen has that book, and Eileen vouches for the book. So that's good. You'll have to ask Colleen about that, Meredith. I don't know. I think they're quite fine, personally. But what's nice about these is I like to use these on my jelly printed fabric as one of the, like the top layer of, you know, little images here and there, which is really fun. Hey, Tina. Nice to see you. Well, we've got a good group coming. I didn't think we'd have this many today, so great. And this was the other one I got, where that other one is very crisp and clean. The pattern lines are very crisp and clean. This one is got the grunge factor going on. This is a Rhonda Palazzari design, and I apologize to her if I'm saying her name incorrectly, but they are more grungy stencil things. Now most of these you could do yourself, like the splots you could do yourself and this kind of stuff, and you could probably do this, but you know, it's just nice to have a stencil and you just, you know, plop it down, stencil through it, and there you go. I know, Colleen, I know. So that was a cool stencil. So those were the two things, two stencils and a book that I got last night. So yeah. All right. Hi, Heidi. Nice to see you. Welcome to everybody that's coming in. I see we have a bunch of guests. I guess I could actually talk to you, couldn't I? I see we have a number of guests. If you'd like to sign in and create an account, you can chat with us. And we'd love to have you do that. So what we're doing today... Oh, one other thing I was going to tell you. I blanked out for a minute. Carla Sonheim, those of you who are familiar with her, I have one of her books. Let me go get that so you know who I'm talking about. Be right back. This is one of Carla Sonheim's books. She's written several, but this is one of them, and this is the 52 creative exercises to make drawing fun, drawing for mixed media artists. Carla Sonheim, it's Sonheim, and she and several other artists are doing a camp for kids, and it starts pretty soon. I don't know exactly, I can't remember exactly when, but it's coming up here pretty quickly. It's like a summer camp for kids, but it's not, you know, it's not restricted to kids. And they opened it up, and there's no charge for it. They opened it up, and within, I think it was 24 hours, they had 1,000 people sign up for it. Yeah. Hello, Race. If any of you don't know, that would be my son. Yes. And he has a special day coming up in a couple days. Y'all might want to wish him the happy, just saying. Yeah, just saying. You might want to wish him, tip your hat to him. Anyway, so Carla has this kids camp coming up. Anyway, it's not restricted to kids. But it looks like it's going to be really fun for kids, but I think it'll be really fun for us too. So if you want to find out more about that, go to Carla's website, which I believe is just carlasonheim.com. And that is where you'll find out more about that, on her website. Okay, so what we're going to do today is talk about polymer clay a little bit. Actually, we're going to talk about polymer clay a whole lot. This week over on HowToGetCreative.com, I did a video on the blog post on Tuesday. And if you didn't see that, it's only on the blog. It's not on YouTube. So you'll have to go over there at HowToGetCreative.com, go to the blog tab, and there it is. You'll find it. But I thought I would show you I decided that we were going to do during July, we're going to do Christmas in July. Now today on Ustream, it's not necessarily going to be Christmas in July, but you know, hey. Could be. You could use what we're going to do today as Christmas, but the thing is, here's why I decided to do this. Because every year when I get to the fall, and all of a sudden, and by the way, if you hear the sponsors, they are protesting quite loudly behind door number 1 because they're not happy. They've been shut in there for the last 2 hours. They're going to be shut in there for 2 more hours. And let me assure you, in case anyone, you know, like is feeling sorry for them, if that door was open, they'd still be in there. But the problem is that the door is closed and they don't want to be behind door number 1. They want to go where they want. If that means come in here for 2 seconds and go back in there. But anyway, so if you hear them protesting, please ignore them. Ignore them. So anyway, what we're doing during July is I'm doing Christmas in July, because this way it's going to get people thinking about some things that they could do to get a head start on the holidays. Hi, Sherry. So yeah, there you go. So here is what I did on the blog post on video blog. And then also, if you go onto YouTube and you check out my channel on YouTube, you'll see some hints and tips about polymer clay. Now, before we go any further, let me assure you that I am no expert in polymer clay. But just because I'm not an expert doesn't mean, hey Vicky, that does not mean that I can't play with it, right? No, it doesn't. So let's take a look at some of these. Just a whole bunch of goodness here, but I thought, well, I'll just show them to you. These are not particularly Christmas, but I think they turned out pretty well. And these are just some little stamps from Stampin' Up. So I made a bunch of those. So they're kind of like tiles. I did punch a hole in them, poke a hole, more appropriately, in them, so they can have a string or a tie or whatever put through them, like this one, for example. See, so that is one of these. Let me show you this close up. So this is what it is. It's an Asian symbol. You can see it when I get the light right. It's an Asian symbol, and it has a word under it which says, this one says wisdom. And so then I put some beads on the top of it. So at any rate, those are not necessarily particularly Christmas, and neither are these. But I did them on point because I thought they would be kind of fun to do. So here's another one. This all came from this same set. They were old Stampin' Up sets that I bought at a garage sale. And I also did a circular one. So these are just things to show you, and these are about 1/4 of an inch or 3/16 of an inch deep. Then I got into doing some snowflakes. So you'll see snowflakes here, and it seemed like one of these, yeah, here. This one, I put a nylon fishing string through it, so when it hangs, it, you know, it just kind of disappears. So these are done in blue and silver. Did a couple of stars, kind of funky stars. These are all done, everything here is done using rubber stamps. So here's the one from this. So it's polymer clay, rubber stamps, and mica powders. Thanks, Vicky. Here's another one. So it actually is a rubber stamp that is impressed in the clay, and I'm going to show you the process today in detail, but it won't be necessarily Christmas in theme. But once I did this, and you'll see this on you'll see the process also detailed again on that video post on HowToGetCreative.com. Once I impressed the stamp into the clay, then I painted it using the mica powders and a little tiny brush. Then when it's baked, the mica powder bakes into the clay and doesn't come off. Yeah, so there you go. Here is a Santa The little Santa, again, started with a stamp. And the difference in these is that these two are done with black clay. This one's done with white clay. So you get a completely different look using the powders with the different colors of clay. So those little guys. This one was, I decided I wanted to see what it would do with a text stamp. And so here's this one which says, "May your holidays be bright with joy and happiness." But you can see, I hope you can see how highly reflective they are. You know, highly reflective. So there's that. But that worked, you know, using the text stamp worked fine. Here is another one done with a white clay. So this was a Christmas tree I had that I unmounted from the wood. So I took it off the wood and I impressed it in white clay. So this has a real frosty look to it. It looks very cold. And so I impressed it in the white clay and then used the mica powders on it. And then there's also some Inca gold used on them, on some of these. Like this has, well, they all have Inca gold on the edge, but you can see that on the website. And then this one is probably my favorite. This is an old, all of these stamps are old. None of these are new. So I'm not enabling you today on these rubber stamps, let me tell you, because you probably can't even get them. This is an old hot potatoes stamp. I think I have 2 hot potato stamps. I don't know if they're even still in business. Do any of you guys know if hot potatoes are still in business? I don't know. But I love her stamps because they're very graphic in nature. So same thing. This is black clay. This stamp was impressed in the clay. And I just tried it to see if it would work. I was just trying to come up with some other easy way to use polymer clay and to do something fun for Christmas in July. And is that right, Carol? Carol was here a year ago last week. I'll be darned. Wow. It's time for you to come back. Carol, it's time for you to come back. So I almost have enough for a sleigh. I almost have a sleigh full of reindeer here. But these are black clay. You can see the black and the stamp impressed into the clay, and then again painted using mica powders, and then baked. Yeah. Vicki says she bought a toaster oven at the garage sale 15 years ago to use for polymer clay, and I'll let y'all guess if I ever used it. I'm not going there, Vicki. So these are different kinds of mica powders. Some of these are PearlEx, like this one is PearlEx. And it happens to be very, very glitter. I don't know if I can catch it in the light or not. Can you see that? It's very glittery. It's highly reflective. There we go. Caught it for a second. Hang on. I'll catch it again. Ooh, come on, light. Work with me. Work with me. I'm telling you, reflective things are so challenging. Yep. There we go. There we go. See how reflective that is? And you can almost see the texture of the glitter in the body of the deer up to the antlers. Those are done with a different one of the powders. Anyway, this is PearlEx down here, and this is Perfect Pearls on the top. But they look quite a bit different from using just the PearlEx, or just the Perfect Pearls. I don't know why they had to name Perfect Pearls and PearlEx so close to the same thing. I don't know. Anyway, don't know why they had to do that. So anyway, there are 4 little reindeer, all done in similar things, similar fashion. One of them is thicker than the other. They come out, they have a very handmade kind of look about them, but that's what I like. And then to get the beads, then I just did a bunch of beads. So this was the leftovers from the clay. And so I rolled it into a ball, and then I simply took my block and I squashed the sphere and put a hole through it. So I made these disc-shaped beads, and again painted them with the mica powders, and then some of them, like I think this one, I rubbed some Inca Gold around the edge. But there you go. So then you can use those. It just dresses up the top of your ornaments a little bit if you want to do that. And you could use them for package, you know, to put on a package. They don't have to be Christmas. They could just be winter. They could be, you know, for some other winter type holiday. And yeah, you just put them on there. And if your string, cording string, whatever, wants to slide off of a pointy part like this at the top, then I just add a little bit of glue to the back to coax it into staying where I want it. So anyway, that was the inspiration of where I started on all this stuff. Okay. Hi, Imelda. Hi, Marion. Okay, so what we're doing today is we're going to make some funky faces. We're going to make some funky faces. And that's what we have here. Because after all, this is the Creating Faces channel. I mean, really, right? It's the Creating Faces channel. And so these are the funky faces. And these are made of polymer clay and rubber stamps. They started their life as my FunFaces rubber stamps. And these are rubber stamps that I did a number of years ago. This is how they start, just like this. And let me put them in order so you can see who goes with what face. Okay. So, not that that really makes any difference, but they transform quite a bit doing them this way. Vicki, it is delish. It is delish. Vicki was another one that was grossed out by my cooking experience. I did not record that yesterday, so I wouldn't make anybody else not like what I streamed. I try to give you choices. I try to give you choices, different things that will appeal to a wide audience. So this is Hillary, and this is Hannah, and this is Harriet. So these are the H sisters, and this one has to be the odd man out, and that's Odie Vern. And Odie Vern only has that name because she's based on a real person. Yes. She's based on a real person. So we're going to talk about these. So these 4 images are, I actually created these so that people didn't have to draw a face. And I used these on fabric to start with. And so that's what they were originally intended for. So these are my faces. I also have doll patterns that go with each one of these faces. And I should get those out and show them to you. I'll probably do that. Maybe I'll do that next week. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it next week. Here comes my dog, Sandy. She's coming around the corner. Oh, she didn't come all the way. She stopped on the other corner. She comes up here. She has to lay right in my way because that's her job, is to lay in my way. Don't you know? Colleen is laughing out loud. She says, I'm a character. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I'm glad I'm entertaining you, Colleen. That's what it's all about. Having fun, making stuff easy. So what I did with these originally, as I said, I drew them and had them reproduced in rubber stamps so that I could have people stamp them on fabric, because that was when I was doing lots of doll making classes. That was the thing that really tripped people up. Were they could do the rest of the doll, but when it came to the face, they would get really, it was like they would freeze, you know, they're like, I can't do that, I can't do that. So this was an easy way to sneak them into learning to do faces, but they didn't have to draw. Well, then I've been taking these and pushing them and seeing what else could happen with them. So I thought I would see what they did with polymer clay. So that's what we're going to do. But first of all, I wanted to show you what I do with these. I take them, because they come like this, they're unmounted. And so I just take a scissor. You can use whatever kind of scissor you like. Now, different people have different ways that they like to mount rubber stamps, and I understand that. But for me, I'm going to do it the easy way, if at all possible. So I trim out all the excess rubber, leaving the part that is clearly the important part. And then I used to use Fun Foam because I didn't ever have anything other than Fun Foam. And so this is even the thin stuff. You can get a thicker Fun Foam, and this is just that. It's probably called something else in other countries, but here in the United States, it's Fun Foam. You find it in the kids section. And I used the stamp, and I used a couple of layers of Fun Foam. Let's see, did I use 2? Yes, 2. And the way that I mounted these together, this is old school, people. This is old school. Any of you still remember rubber cement? Rubber cement you buy in a little jar. I don't have any in the small jar. Looking, I have it in a pint container. I don't use it very much because it will make you higher than a kite, right? Bye, Mary D. It'll make you higher than a kite if you breathe the fumes very long, so you got to be careful. And so I painted the back with rubber cement here, and I painted some on the Fun Foam, let it sit for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then put them together. And it acts like a contact cement, and then trimmed around it. And then I repeated it again and did 2 layers of Fun Foam. So that's what I have right here. 2 layers of Fun Foam on the back of the stamp. So the stamp starts out as this thick, so you can see it's very thin. It's just like any other rubber stamp. And after you put a couple of layers of the Fun Foam on it, it thickens it up quite a bit. Right? I'm sure that the Ultimate Glue would do it. I'm just telling you the old school way of doing it in case people don't have the Crafter's Pick Ultimate Glue. I mean, truly, the Aleene's Tacky Glue would probably do it too. So I know. Hi, Bunny. Yeah, I really like the Ultimate Glue a lot. So then my handle, this is all very high tech, very high tech. This is a piece of painter's tape that I pinched and then spread the 2 ends of the painter's tape and put that on the Fun Foam. And I will tell you, these have been on here for years, right? For years. Yeah. And so what I did then is I used that as my handle, because I wasn't mounting them on anything. I was just using them like that. So that's what I did with all 4 images. So I'll show you these up close and personal over here. So this one, this little face is Hillary. That's her face. This is Hillary. And this is Hillary done in clay as a funky face. Okay, so this is Hillary as a funky face. She's a fun face here, because that's what these are called, fun face. Turned into a funky face. This one is Harriet. So this is Harriet. Trying to get these where you can see them, not a lot of competition. So there's Harriet, and here as a fun face. And here's Harriet as a funky face. You can kind of smooth her hair out of the way so you can see her, but you know, she does have eyes under there. So there's Harriet as a funky face. You got to say it like that too. You got to go funky face. Got to be careful though. This is Hannah. Hannah is a little more serious. Thanks, Vicky. I know, Vicky, I like the funky ones too. So that's Hannah. And I'm trying to get these, to get my hand out of the way so you can see. And there's, you know, there's just not a great way to show them to you, truthfully. There's Hannah as a funky face. And again, her eyes are under there, but there she is. And then this is Odie Vern. Well, here, let me hang on to Odie Vern. There's Odie Vern. She's an older face. Yes, there's a whole story behind Odie Vern, but we don't have to go there. So there's Odieburn as the fun face, and here's Odieburn as a funky face. So I think they're pretty funny. They're pretty funny and funky. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually do this thing. Exactly, Vicki. It's my version of Happy Diane stickles. So any questions about that part so far? If not, we're gonna move on and we're gonna make some funky faces. Oh, in case you decided that you wanted the faces, I do have some of them still around. I don't have a limitless supply, let me tell you that. It is a limited supply. And in case you decide that you want them, I'll give you a link. So there's the link in case you want to check them out. I'm selling all 4 faces together in one set. They are the unmounted rubber stamps, and this is the link for those of you that are watching the recording. I'll also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll have a link in the description box, and you'll be able to find them. So the shipping is included. They are and there's a couple of sheets of paper that come with it with some instruction on using them with colored pencils also that come with them. But they are the unmounted rubber, and then you can mount them as you wish. So that's the link to the FunFaces rubber stamps. They're all 4 in the same package. If you're an international person and you want a pair of I'll get it out in a minute. If you live someplace outside the continental United States and you would like to have the stamps, then we'll bill you for the actual shipping. So, yeah. So there are the faces. So they're available on the website. So what I have here, this is Premo. This is Premo is what I'm using today. The Premo by Sculpey. So this is their I think this is considered their artist grade or higher grade oven baked clay. There's also Sculpey 3. There's all different kinds, but you know, I kind of like this one. So I like this one. I like them. I like both. I worked with the Sculpey 3 and also the Premo. I'm not so much on the Kato polyclay. I worked on one time. I tried, I should say, and I really like Donna Kato, but I'm telling you what, that clay is hard to work with. Let me tell you, that is some hard stuff to work with. All right, so for a second here, I need to go out of, you won't see me for a minute because I've got to run over to my pasta machine to condition the clay, because that's one of the things you got to do with polymer clay is you need to condition it so that it will bake properly. So I'm going to let you look at the funky girls. I'll let you look at the funky girls and their fun counterparts. So we'll just put them all there like that, and I will be right back. Yeah, so entertain yourselves for a minute. I'll be right back. I just need to roll this through the pasta machine to condition it. Okay, when you get done running it through the pasta machine, It's in a big sheet like this, and I do it a number of times. It softens the clay, softens it up, where you can now work it with your hands much more easily. Now, if you do have hand issues, you know, like, I don't know what kinds of hand issues, but if you have hand issues, then you're going to want to use your pasta machine a lot and soften it more. I did find my experience with Premo, especially in the hot weather, is that you just that the Premo softens up a lot. If you don't have a pasta machine, you just have to work it. You just have to work it and work it and work it. Yeah. You got rid of all your clay stuff? Okay. That's all right. Hi, Anita K. You just have to work it. So squeeze it back and forth. You can also use like a heating pad and put it, you know, put a heating pad on top of it or set the clay on it. And a heating pad, an electric heating pad, helps to soften it. Some people put it in their bra to soften it up. Some people sit on it. APG Jamie, I watched your newest video today. You rock the voiceovers, let me tell you. You make me laugh when I listen to you on YouTube. When you get tickled, it makes me laugh. Just saying. Just saying. So once you get this where it's nice and soft, like so, then I roll it into a ball. So just roll it. Okay? That also helps to further condition it, but the clay needs to be conditioned or it doesn't bake properly. So you got to condition it, which means squeeze it and knead it and roll it. So then you have a nice ball of conditioned clay. And I use this roller set, this Activa clay roller set. And that's what we're going to use here. And it comes with a number of different gauges, I guess you would call it, to roll out the thickness that you want, because the thickness that I want to work with is thicker than what the pasta machine will make. And so the one that I'm going to work with today is 3/16 of an inch. So I used a marker, like a Sharpie marker, and because the markings are inscribed. The markings are inscribed in there, so that says 3/16, but they're really tiny, and they're also the same color as the bars, and so it's really hard to see them. So yeah, you can sit on it. Yep. It's anything that warms it up helps start the process. So I just kind of flatten it into a disc. This is about 1/2 inch thick or so. Put it down, and then it comes with a roller, which is hollow, so it's just like a piece of PVC pipe. And then just roll it. But I want it thicker than what the pasta machine produces. And it's hard to get a thick, consistently thick or thin sheet if you don't have a pasta machine. And if you do have a pasta machine and you want it thicker than what the pasta machine produces, it's hard to get it. But this one works. Yeah, it's a nifty tool. It really is. And if you want more information about it, you can check it out. There's a link that if you want more information about it, or those of you watching a recording, there's a link for you, create.me/Activa clay roller set. Because that's what it is. It's the Activa clay roller set. Comes with all the bars, comes with 1/4 inch, 3/16, 1/4, 1/8, and 16th inch bars. And now you do have to make sure that you get the same height bar in both sides. If you don't, it doesn't work out so well. Yeah, polymer clay is cured in the oven. I wouldn't recommend that you do it in your home oven. I would recommend that you do it in a dedicated clay oven. And they do have one. You can do a toaster oven, or you can get the, I believe Amaco is the company that has the clay, dedicated clay oven. So I just kind of move it around, and I use my hands and my wrist to roll it out until my roller is down on the bars, and it's obvious that you're down there because the clay doesn't change anymore. Hi, Janice. And then if you look at it, let's see, I got a spot here that I'm not quite down. If you pick it up, and you won't be able to see it on camera, but if you pick it up and look at it around the edge, you'll be able to tell that the thickness is even all the way around. So there is my clay. So I'm going to use my prepared little FunFaces. Use my FunFaces. And to get them to work on the clay so that they don't stick, I've heard of different things and read different things, but for me it's easy to just put some water in a little spray bottle, and I just spray it lightly with water, and it works like a charm. So I just barely spray it. You can probably see it's just barely wet. And then I put it on the clay like so, and then push evenly. Now, if this was on a block, you could, it would be easier probably. And pull it out. And you see the face and the clay. I know it's black, but they will change here shortly. And then I use these little oval cutters. They come in a set. And they're just little oval cutters, and these particular ones are from the Premo. They're labeled as Premo. I did make these stamps. I did. And if you want to know more about the stamps, I'll give you a link, and it'll take you right over to them. You can find out about them. They're on sale until the end of the month, and you get all 4 images. They are unmounted red rubber or gray rubber, depending on what time what color rubber they were using when I got them. Anyway, so you look through the little oval, and the oval or the stamp is just slightly bigger than the oval, but it works out fine. Yeah, it works out fine. So I just put it around there, and then even pressure, and then just pull the oval up, and we have the starting of a funky face. So we've got that one done. So we're going to go to the next one. So I'm going to try and fit all 4 of them on here. I think I can. So spritzed it with water. I'm going to put this one over here. I don't know what made me decide to try rubber stamps on clay, but why not? I'm sure it's been done before. And again, I'm going to look down through the oval, kind of center the face in there as best I can, and then cut down through the clay, and then just wiggle the cutter out. Okay, so we now have 2 faces. Ooh, 2 faces. So I'm going to do the next 2. But just pressing the face down into the clay, and then by using the little handle made out of tape, because it's very high tech, you can just pop it out. So APG Jamie says she answers to almost anything. And then she qualified it with almost anything. Almost. Yeah, I threatened to change my name a couple times to something that my son wasn't allowed to say when he was little because I got so tired sometimes of hearing my name. Mom, Mom. Now I'd give anything to have him calling my name. But he does. He calls my name. Okay. Now, one of the bad things with polymer clay is air bubbles. Air bubbles are not good. I have learned to embrace the air bubble, people. I'm telling you, because I'm not so good at keeping the air bubbles out of it. Exactly, Marion. Says she's known as Hay. Isn't that the truth? Okay, so when you do this, you want to make sure that you don't cut one of your other faces. All right, so we now have 4 faces impressed in the clay and cut. So at this point, what you do is pull the scrap clay away from the ovals like magic. Hey, Moonrose Joyce. Good to see you. And then you have clay left over. If you want to do more, then you just start over. Now you don't have to run it back through the pasta machine. You just have to condition it a little bit with your hands. It's already soft enough to handle, so you just work it back in your hands and roll it back into a ball and roll it out. You just got to make sure you get it nice and smooth to start with. You get it nice and smooth, and then you're ready to roll it out on your clay roller again, or whatever way you choose to roll it out. Then when I save it, I wrap it back up in the package and I put it in a plastic bag, or you can use, if you have one of those food saver systems like I showed on the paper clay, you can put it in that and suck all the air out of it. You want to keep as much air away from any kind of clay, even though it will not cure in the bag. You want to keep the air out of it as much as possible. All right, so we now have our little faces done here. So this is just a piece of manila folder that will fit inside my oven, my little clay oven. And so I'm going to pull these off and put them on this clay, or this is my baking paper. There you go, Colleen. And you'll get some residue on your clay roller surface, and so I just use a soft cloth and then I just rub it, and I haven't had any problem with that coming off, and I've used this a lot. It just takes off that stuff and leaves the surface nice and clean. I do the same thing with the roller, and just rub, use a cloth and it just cleans that stuff right off of there. I even do the same thing with my cutter. I don't know if you can see, there's a kind of a dull film on there from the clay, and I just kind of rub around there and it just cleans it right off. And you're done, ready to put it away and use it the next time. So let me stick these back in there. Stick them back in their house. They have a little clamshell house, just kind of like the jelly plate has. So here we have our little the beginning of our little funky faces. Now, if you have any water that has stuck down inside there, then I just come in here with a little Kleenex and just kind of very, very, very lightly, because if you go very hard, you're going to impress shapes into the clay, and you don't want to really do that. And if you have any edges on the clay that is kind of rough, then I just use my finger and just smooth around the edge a little bit. It doesn't particularly bother me if it's a little rough, but you can smooth it out if you need to around the edge. Sometimes they get a little jaggedy. So this morning, Anita poured Fruit Loops out in the kitty dish. I bet they were confused. She has little kittens. I bet they were confused. Okay, so we're pretty good to go here. So let's start with this one. Now, I'm going to use Perfect Pearls, and these are the colors I have. I don't have a ton of colors of Perfect Pearls. This is the Ranger product, Perfect Pearls. There's also the PearlEx, which comes in a different container. Has lots of colors. Perfect Pearls come in lots of colors too. The difference between Perfect Pearls, which are these, and PearlEx, which are these, and the black lids, is that the Perfect Pearls have a binder in them, which means that you can use them as paint or a variety of things that they will stick on things. These will not stick on things without using some kind of binder to add to them when you use them under most circumstances. Either of these will work on the clay because it bakes into the clay. So, and I used them both and had good results with all of it. It's no problem. Okay, Vicki had a good tip. The oven is low enough. Right. You bake them on a piece of manila folder. Don't have to put anything for it not to stick. No, it won't stick. And you put them in the oven and it doesn't burn. And the reason for using the paper is it keeps the back from getting shiny. If that's a concern to you, like with the beads, for example, you don't want to have one shiny surface on the beads, and so baking them on the manila folder or cardstock or even just using a index card works. Yeah, but you can bake them on a tile or on glass or whatever. The oven temperature is very low. It's like 275 for most of the clay manufacturers. All right, so these little black blobs, we're going to transform them into something that you can actually see. You ready for the magic? We're going to make them funky. We're going to make them magic. So we might do two colors on this one just because I haven't done that yet. So why not do two colors? So here's blue and here's some purple. So the Perfect Pearls come with some brushes. You could use any brush you want. You just want something soft. So we're going to pick up a little bit, and I usually go around it in the lid. This is almost as bad as glitter, by the way. It's almost as bad as glitter. Yeah. It gets everywhere, just so you know. So I'm going to dust some of this on very lightly in a couple of spots. Yeah, a couple little spots. You can kind of see the blue starting to come through. Then I'm going to switch to purple. No, you don't have to buy a special baking tray. And then I'm just going to put some purple here. Can you see her starting to come to life? This probably wasn't my best color choice to begin with. That's okay. We have 3 more we're going to play with. So I'm just using a couple of colors on here and very, very lightly dusting these over the top of the stamped image. And then I'm just going to take one of these colors. I'm going to use the blue, take a little more blue, and I'm just going to kind of go around the outside edge. All right, so let me show you this one. Up close here. Let me get rid of the excess powder. Okay, so there you see her, right? See her showing up? Oh, good, Jamie. Your colors, huh? Hi, Cheryl. No cooking today, no. Bye, Carol. So there you go. There's that one. Alright, so we're going to just pick her up carefully and move her out of the way. And if you need to, you can wipe off your surface a little bit. A good thing to have to get rid of stuff like this on your mat is to have a lint roller, because you can use it to roll up that, and you can use that for glitter and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so let's do this one, and let's do a color so you can really see it this time, shall we? So this color I think is bronze. One of the things that they do on these is they put the color underneath, which is annoying, just saying. So I'm using this color, and you see what happens immediately. And I wish I could tell you how lightly I was buffing this color on. Very, very lightly. Now, who would believe that was black? You know what I mean? And then I just go around the edge a little bit. You can always go around the edge later with Inca Gold. Maybe we'll do that on some of them. But you need to do that after it's done. Okay, after it's baked. You want to use the Inca Gold afterwards. Okay, she wants to slide around. She doesn't want to stay put. Okay, all right. Be that way. Just be that way. You're just being funky. Okay, but you can see her face. All right, so there's that one. So let's go to Miss Odieburn, and I think we'll just make Miss Odieburn silver. And there's a white perfect pearls, and it comes out looking silver. Whoops, sorry. It comes out looking silver on the black clay. So watch and see. So this is the white one. And like a magic, all of a sudden you get to see all the features on the face. See? Can you see her features popping up? But you got to be careful that you use a soft brush and that you don't use much pressure, because if you do, you'll mar the surface of the clay, which could just make them funkier. All right, so there's Odieburn. Thanks, Vicki. And then we have Harriet. So here's Harriet. And Miss Harriet, I like the two-tone, so let's do that again. Let's use, how about if we use red and gold? I don't know why, just because. We'll use red and gold on her. So, let's start out with some red. Then you can clean your brush off on a paper towel or Kleenex or something if you want. Clearly I didn't. I just went from one color to another. They don't seem to contaminate. And then I'm going to pick up gold, and I'm going to use gold on her also. So red and gold. Oh, this is Hillary. I'm not sure what I called this one, but this is Hillary. And then maybe I'll go back to the red and put that around the edge a little bit. Now, if you're more careful, you don't get all this excess that I just slopped out there. Like so. Okay? So, to bake these then, don't hoard perfect pearls. Use those. Use those puppies. Yes, use those. They last forever. I've had these for years. And it's like time to figure out ways to use them. So I'm going to take these off just for a second and get rid of all the excess perfect pearls in the trash can. And the rest of the excess we'll wipe away. And then I'll show you what they look like at this stage. Okay, so from this distance, that's what they look like. They're permanently on sale. I mean, they're on, I won't say they're permanently on sale. They're on sale until the end of the month. And the sale price is there. Yeah. So here are the faces. I can't tip them all the way up. But there are the faces, okay, right there. Done with a variety of the perfect pearls on black clay, right? Hey, Nicole. Nicole is Race's girlfriend. How's Miss Nicole? I watched your video today. Nicole does great. I was telling Race today. Nicole does these wonderful makeup videos on YouTube. Nicole, put your, if you, I don't know if you can. Nicole, can you put your link to your YouTube channel in the chat? If you guys do not know about makeup, I was telling Race this morning, I said she needs to come out here and she needs to help me. She needs to help me. She needs to come out here. She needs to take me shopping. She needs to do my makeup. I'm just saying. Nicole's a lot younger than I am, and she's a lot cuter. I'm just telling you, she's a lot cuter. And she does some great stuff with makeup. Nicole's on her phone. Okay, is Race still here? I don't know if he's still here. Let's see. Maybe Race is here. Maybe he'll put it in the chat for us, huh? We'll see. Okay. Anyway, just so you guys could see. She does really nice makeup. Okay, so what you do then, back to these funky faces. Nicole does real faces. I do funky faces. What you do with these is I have the clay oven, and so what I do is I heat it up, preheat it for about 20 minutes or more. For yeah, probably 20-25 minutes. I heat it up to 275, and I use an oven thermometer because I found you can't trust the thermometer, you know, the dial. If you set it to 275, which there's not an exact place to set it, but if you set it to that, doesn't necessarily, mine heats too hot. And so I end up having to put an oven thermometer in there and adjust it accordingly. So for my little oven, I have to set it at 250 to get it to be at 275. Put them in there, and then I bake them for about 45 minutes in the oven. Now, you don't, if you take them out, and then I let them stay in there and completely cool down, okay? Completely cool down. When you take them out and they're totally cool, they should be hard, okay? They should be hard. They should not give and bend. They should be hard. So, and from my understanding, and again, I'm not a polymer clay expert, my understanding is that baking them longer does not hurt them. Okay, what was it, Marion? Would a toothpick go through the faces so they could be strung? Yep, absolutely. You could use a toothpick. You can use a craft pick. You know, you can use a retractable craft pick. You can use one of these kinds of picks. You can use an awl. You can use anything. But you have to do it before. I would do it before you bake them. Because that's how I did all of these. All of these have a hole in them. You see the hole up there? See the hole right there? That was done ahead of time before they baked. So you want to make the hole a little bigger than you think you want it to. So when you put the craft pick in there, wiggle it around and do it from both sides. Now you have to be careful when it's uncured, when it's just the raw clay, because the clay is soft and it will pick up fingerprints and stuff like that. So you have to be careful doing that, but that's what I would do. Otherwise you have to drill it afterwards, and I would rather do it ahead of time personally because I'm lazy like that. Yeah, I'm lazy like that. All right, before this is over, I'm sure I will have sparkles all over my face, and I'll have brand new eyeshadow and all that kind of stuff because it is everywhere. But all right, and then so I take them to the oven, and then I put it, let's see, okay, so it wouldn't have to stay in it. Any way to put a toothpick or something through the face to string. You just poke I guess what you're asking is about the hole. You just poke the hole. You don't have to put anything in there to keep the hole open. You just make the hole, make sure it's nice and open, put it in, bake it. It doesn't close up during baking, because like even the holes in the beads, those are all done ahead of time. Same thing, you know, put in the hole, bake it, it does not close up. Okay, so this goes in the oven. You bake it for, I baked them for 45 minutes. You know, you can do it, just experiment is my suggestion. Experiment and see how the oven bakes it. And these are some that I baked earlier today. These are all solid colors. They don't have the multiple colors like I used on the other one because I didn't think about it, you know. Anyway, they're nice and firm, shall we say. So what I did next is I wanted them to have a little bit of, I wanted their eyes to show up a little bit more. So I used a really fine brush. Now this is picky stuff, okay? Picky stuff. You don't have to do this. And you might even be able to do it with markers. I don't know. I used paint, so I'm using black paint right here. We'll just squirt some out. You may not be able to see this, and I don't think I can hold it in such a way on the other camera because it's at an angle. I don't think I can hold it and be able to see for me to see, then for you to, oh, never mind. You know what I mean. Good grief. Good night. That's right, sparkles up my character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint them, and then I will show you on the bigger camera, okay? The close-up camera. So I'm just using some black acrylic paint, and I'm kind of making it up as I go. Now I know these are my stamps, but you have to remember that these are meant to be stamped originally as outlines, okay? So when you do them in this state, you're kind of having to decide what you want to be, how big do you want the pupil and stuff. Use the guideline that's there. But you can kind of do it the way you want. Honestly, their eyes don't show very much anyway, so it doesn't matter just a whole heck of a lot. But the idea is, the idea for the eyes clearly I can't talk and do this at the same time. You want them as much as possible to be about the same size, okay? All right. Thanks, Bridgeton. Hope you enjoy them. And they'll get shipped the early part of next week. Now, on this face, it's much harder to see where the eyes are, where the pupil would go. So you just, again, just kind of make it up. The eyes, if you do what I'm doing here and turn them into funky faces, it doesn't matter a whole lot because the hair covers up most of the eyes anyway, but it's just like, I just can't stand for them not to have, I can't stand for them not to be able to see. You know, I can't. So we got that one. Let's go to this one. I'll show you all of them here in a minute. Pardon my nasty water container. It's not nearly as nasty as it appears. It just has a whole lot of dried paint on it. I have used these faces many, many, many different ways. I've used them on paper dolls, I've used them on cloth dolls, I've used them on little cloth faces, I've used them on making cards. I've done all different kinds of ways of using these, but I'd never used them on clay, and that's what I thought would be fun. And I have to say, I really like how they've turned out. Very, very funky. So I'll show you what they look like at this stage in just a second, but we're doing all 4 of them. Okay, so let's take a look at them up close. Get stuff out of the way so you can actually see them. How did I shape the ovals? The ovals came from this little cutter right here, and it's a set of cutters, a set of oval cutters, and they're just clay cutters, and it's the largest one. That's how I did it. You could also, I mean, this is the easy way to do it. You could also use a craft knife and cut around them. They don't have to be oval. That's just what I did because it was easy. It was the easy button because I believe in easy. Oops. Sorry, I gotta get to my right place here. Okay, so here is, let me see if I can zoom in any closer. Oh yeah, there we go. Now you can really see. So you can see that her little, how sparkly she is, how iridescent. And she's very, very goofy to start with, and her eyes are not level, and you know, that's just how she is. But there's the pupil. We'll give her a place to look here in a minute. Here's this one. So she has little pupils. You can just see them. She's really quite dark. This one, she looks very terrified at the moment. Yeah, if you use, as long as you're not going to use them on food again, Cheryl, the polymer clay stuff, once you use it on polymer clay, needs to be dedicated to polymer clay. So unless you're willing to sacrifice it for food, from food to polymer clay, then, you know, make a different choice on that. Okay, so there's, and you can see on this one, if I get it tilted just right, there are a couple of air bubbles in here. There's one right there. You can see it right there. There's another one over here. It's not going to hurt that. There might even be another one somewhere. It's not really going to hurt the face, but if you tilt it just wrong, you know, you can see them. Doesn't bother me, but you know, if you're picky about that, then you're going to want to rework the clay. You're going to want to work it over and get it really, really smooth. And you'll have to pop the air bubbles with a pin and then smooth the clay back over, and you just it just takes more effort, but you can do it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the red. Now remember I said the Perfect Pearls has the binder already in it, and just for fun, I'm going to make a little bit of paint out of the Perfect Pearls. Already has the binder in it, so I don't have to add anything to it. And so I'm just going to get some of it out and put it on my craft sheet, and just it will dissolve with water, and you can create a paint with it. But it maintains that because you're using the same paint, it maintains the luminescence because you're working with the same paints, the same family of sparkly stuff. So what I did with this, just because I wanted to, is I made it into a paint like this, just with some water, and then I just came in and I just added, kind of using the shape that was there. But if I, you know, gave it a little new shape, I was okay with that. Because nobody knows exactly what it is because they're not comparing to the original. And then I just gave them some little red lips because, you know, why not? Every girl needs her lipstick, right, Nicole? I'd like to see Nicole's makeup, collection of makeup sometime. If you do YouTube videos on makeup, I bet you have a lot of makeup. Makes me laugh. She probably has as much makeup as I have art supplies. I bet that's the truth. Okay, so now we have some red lips on that one. So I'm just going to set those over to dry. We'll just do all 4 of them. You cannot do this with the PearlEx unless you've added something to it, which would be gum arabic, or you could actually mix it in with some matte medium. But you have to have something in it that will actually bind the mica powder to the surface that you're working on. Now, some of these make better, well, I won't say better, they're just different kinds of expressions based on how the clay is impressed with the stamp. Okay. It is being recorded. That's what it says. It says it's going to be recorded. And you can rewatch it on my blog. Sunday is when I post it. You can watch it on Ustream. You can watch it on my blog on Sunday. And then later we put it on, sometime later on Sunday we'll put it on YouTube. Okay, so let me show you what they look like with their lips on, because every girl needs to have her lips put on. Okay, so there's her lips. I cut my fingernails last night, so they are super short. The hazards of being a former pianist is that I can't stand any length on my nails. Okay, Nicole. Well, Nicole, just type in, can you just type in what the channel name is? They'll get it from there, too. Can you just type in the name? Because I forgot what the name is. They won't be able to click the link, but they'll be able to search it on YouTube if you would not want to do. Oops. And that wasn't supposed to happen. Got a little red blob on her cheek. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, here's the other one. I care. Okay, there it is. Nikki Beauty Bliss. All right, I'm going to read this out for anybody that is watching the recording. It's Nikki, N-I-K-K-I, Beauty, B-E-A-U-T-Y, Bliss, B-L-I-S-S. All one word. Nikki Beauty Bliss. Yeah, so if you want, I mean, even if you guys aren't into makeup, she's worth watching because she is masterful when it comes to that stuff. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Masterful. And she says, don't be scared when you see her with no makeup. I think you're very brave, Nicole. Very brave. I do. Okay. So, coming back over here, I'm using a script brush. So it's a brush, so the very long bristles. And it's a synthetic brush, and because it's very tiny at the end. And so what I'm going to do is I'm picking up a teeniest little amount of white, And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to give her a couple sparkle dots. My goal is to do one larger and one smaller. And sometimes I'm successful and sometimes I'm not. And I will show them to you up close and personal here in a minute. And sometimes if the first one gets too big, then I just scrap the second one. And sometimes I put them on the same side of the eye, sometimes I put them on opposite sides of the eye. They're just funky and fun. Like these little pupils are so tiny, we'll probably just put one little sparkle dot. The eyes aren't going to show very much. This is kind of crazy. This is kind of crazy to spend this kind of time on this because the eyes really don't show. I can't help myself. All right, so we have sparkle dots. I will show them to you up close on the big camera. All right, so here are, so you can see them with their little sparkle dots. See? Now they have the appearance of looking somewhere because they have some sparkle in their eyes. See? They are really reflective. Odivern's one of my favorite faces of the four. They're all my favorites. What am I saying? It's like trying to pick one of your children. Thank goodness I only ended up with one child. That would have been terrible if I'd had to choose. Try to love more than one child the same. Oh my goodness. Let me show you on this one. I wanted to show you what to do if you did get an air bubble. This one ended up with an air bubble right here on the corner, right on her cheek. And it just happened to look like a comma stroke, so I just painted it red, the same color as I painted her lips. So it looks like a red little beauty mark or a tattoo or something, right? So that's what I did. Now, it would look pretty silly, I have to say, if we took this one and I put red in the places where there were air bubbles. That would look goofy. But the other one, this one, it didn't. It did look okay to put that beauty mark right there. All right? I'm going to make these into pins is what I'm going to do with them. And wear them on a coat or a blazer or something. That's what I'm going to do with them. Or a shirt. That's what I'm going to do with them. Okay, so here are our funky little faces. Now remember, these are baked. They are baked. You couldn't see it? Sorry. Try again. Thanks, Vicki. Okay, so this is probably what you didn't see, is where the beauty mark was right here. That's where the air bubble was, and it just happened to look. See it now? Right there. See on her cheek? Looks like a comma. That was an air bubble, and so I just painted it red. On this one, on the other hand, the placement of the places where there are some air bubbles, there's some air pockets that were trapped in there, it would not look right to put those in. I could probably get away with one up here, but the rest of them look kind of goofy. So I think this one would make a great witch too. I think she would, this Harriet's face done in green, I think would make a great witch face. That was a tongue twister. Okay, so we have our little faces, and so we're going to review just a second. I took black clay, which is, I was working with Premo. This is Premo's oven baked clay. or oven cure clay, oven bake, oven cure, whatever you want to call it. So I'm working with Premo. That's what I happen to be working with. I also have worked with Sculpey 3. I've tried other brands too. These are the ones that are easiest to work with, especially if you have any hand issues, any arthritis or, you know, other hand issues. You'll have to pick one of the ones that's lighter weight. You condition the clay, so you massage it, condition it, roll it through a pasta machine, sit on it, you know, whatever, to warm it up enough that you can condition it. And you need to condition it for about 10 minutes or the pasta machine cuts that time down. Bye, Gina. That cuts the time down considerably if you use a pasta machine, because you can roll it through like 10 times and that will condition it for you. Roll it into a ball so it's nice and smooth. Then I use the Activa clay roller set, and that was this thing here. If you need to go find out more about it, you can find out more there. The Activa clay roller set, and I use that to get an even thickness because it rolls the clay thicker than what I can get it in the pasta machine. So that's why I use the roller set. Okay, and I use the 3/16 inch setting for that. Then I took the rubber stamps, which are the FunFaces rubber stamps. So there's those, and Odie Vern has taken a walkabout. Odie Vern, where did you go? Where'd you go, love? There you go. And I took those stamps and I sprayed them just very lightly with water, pressed them into the black clay, and then I used this little oval cutter and I looked down through the clay and centered the face in there as best I could and cut the face. And you can see that the cutter, they didn't have any cutters that were any bigger than this. So this is the biggest one, and it will cut off a little bit of the outside of her face, but I thought it was quite fine, and so that's what I did. And then you bake them, or then after they're cut out, then you dust them with either the Perfect Pearls, or you can use the PearlEx, because either one of these will bake into the clay. Even though this doesn't have a binder in it, it will bake into the clay. Okay? And so either one you can use. I was working with the Perfect Pearls today. And so after they're dusted and turned nice and metallic, then put them in the oven, and I put them in the oven using a piece of manila file folder. Okay, that's what I baked them on. This has been baked, this has baked many things. Put them on a manila file folder. It's the double thickness, just because that way I had something that was a little stiffer to hang on to. Bake them in the oven. I use a dedicated clay oven, and at 275 you want to preheat it for at least 20 minutes, and I put an oven thermometer in with it so I can see, because mine heats hotter than the recommended temperature. So bake them, and I bake them for about 40-45 minutes in the oven. Okay, it has a timer on it that'll go up to 30 minutes, so I have to reset it because it turns off the oven automatically. And when the oven is finished completely with the baking, then I let it just completely cool down inside the oven. Once the temperature is totally down, which doesn't take very long because it's a small oven, then you can take it out and then you can handle them. But they have to be totally cool to be completely cured. If they're not completely cool, they're going to be vulnerable to, you know, warping and stuff. All right, so that's the process up to now. So we got them done, and then I took them out and I used more of, this time I used only the Perfect Pearls because it does have the binder in it. Turned it into some paint, painted their lips, I painted their eyes black just using plain old craft paint because I didn't have anything else. I don't have Perfect Pearls in that. Maybe it comes in black, I don't know, but I don't have it. And then I put sparkle dots on using white acrylic paint. So just plain old craft paint for their eyes, and that's where we are right now. So that's a review of how I got from there to here. And if you want to go back to the beginning of the recording, you can see samples of the different things that I've done, also using different kinds of stamps and so forth. Or you can check out the video from earlier in the week. There's a video on YouTube about the some tips for polymer clay. There's another video on the blog on HowToGetCreative.com where you can see exactly how the process I did for you making the little deer. So if you're interested, that catches you up on all that. All right. So let's talk hair, shall we? I'm going to use my old trusty Aleene's Tacky Glue. You can also easily, for this, use the Crafter's Pick the Ultimate. Either glue seems to work fine. It stuck quite nicely to the polymer, so I didn't have any trouble with it. I do find that this dries when there's anything that I'm not sure is if I'm going to get some glue kind of out where I don't want it, maybe I'll tend to go for the tacky glue because it dries, I think, a little less. I think there's a little less visibility when it dries than possibly with the Crafter's Pick, but either one work. All right, so let's get some funky fibers, shall we? Some funky fibers. Let's see, where are the rest of my yarns? Here they are. And I have, this is all from doll making days, and this is only some of it. So I'm thinking somebody needs pink hair, don't you think? I think they do. So let's do, now I gotta find my scissors. Here they are. So I'm gonna see if I can find the end of this yarn. Oh, good fortune, I found it. And these are just fun to do. This is a goofy, hairy yarn. I buy this stuff on sale when I find it. And, there's lots of places where they'll have like one skein of yarn left over, and they'll do a really great markdown a lot of times. And I'm thinking with this one, she might want to have red also. So maybe we'll do some red hair, some red and pink, just for fun. Because after all, they're fun faces, right, people? They're fun faces. So this is another yarn. It's even hairier. And they don't take very much yarn, so I'm going to just, use a few inches. So what's that? 5 inches? 4.5, 5 inches? So maybe we'll do, the red is hairier, so maybe we'll do 1 strand of red and 2 strands of pink. Barb, where's your blog where you have the pictures of your life-size ladies? They're not on the How to Get Creative blog, and the other one is I took down. So I'll have to tweet a picture. I'll try to remember to do that later. How's that? If I forget, somebody remind me. The life-size dolls, yep. They live in Kansas City. Okay, so what I do is I take like these 3 strands of yarn, and then I just tie a knot. Just because it's easy and it holds these strands of yarn together. So I tie them together in a loose knot like this. And I can already see that I've got too much yarn here, but that's okay. We'll trim it down, and do we want to put it on the green hair? No, she wants a different color. Oh, I'm thinking Odie Byrne. Yeah, we'll put it on Odie Byrne. And this is where you play. This is where you play. Hi, Di. This is where you play. So I just start with a big, well, not big. Hi, Muppet. Here comes the Muppet girl. She had to come up and say hello, didn't you? You want to come up and see everybody? Come here. Come here. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can let them see you. See your pretty face. There she is. Here's the Muppet dog. She came up to say hello. We have to take a puppy break every so often, or kitty break. This is Muppet. There she is. She has to have a scratch or two. You being a good girl? Are you being good? Oh, yes. When you say, are you being good, she stands up very tall. Very tall. You're a good girl. Okay. Go. Good girl. All right, back to, back to the face. So I put a little blob of glue on there, and then I just sort of start playing and say, you know, okay, how do I want her hair? Do I want hair to come down? No, that looks kind of really silly. So I'm going to trim these down, and I'm going to give her just a little... I really like to give them asymmetrical hairstyles sometimes. Sometimes I like to make it come around like her hair's up. That might be what we do on this one. We might let her look like she's got hair coming around and pulled up into a hairstyle on the, like it's pulled up, you know what I mean? And I keep just keep the lid off the glue, and I keep it in a can or a jar so it's down where I want it. Otherwise, I have to continually squeeze it down or shake it down or whatever. She's a good girl. She's a good girl. All right, so I'm gonna let that sit like that and dry a little bit, and then we'll come back to it. But the glue needs to set up a little bit before we go any further. So we're gonna let her sit for a minute, okay? So let's come here to this one. And I'm thinking, I'm feeling this kind of crazy hair on this one. I'm feeling this hair on her. So we're not going to use a lot, but 3 or 4 strands. You can always trim it down. I don't have a clue in the world what this yarn was for, but I'm sure that I bought it because it was sparkly and fun. Yeah, Pippi Longstocking. Old Pippi Longstocking. But I most always start with tying a knot in the middle to tie the strands together. Otherwise, they will drive you crazy. And I often do this when I'm making the cloth dolls. I'll do the same kind of thing. Tie a knot in the middle. Because you see how that immediately holds everything together, and it's not quite as irritating. So we're going to just put this on the top of her forehead, just like that. And again, I'm going to let that sit so the glue will set up a little bit, and then I'll decide what I'm going to do with the stuff sticking out. Okay, so that's that one. All right, love, what color do you want your hair to be? I don't know, purple might be nice. Purple might be nice on your hair, maybe purple and red. What do you think? What do you think, purple and red? I don't know, let's see. Maybe 2 purple, 2 reds and a purple. This is very cool yarn. I have no idea what it is, but it's like a twisted, I don't have the label on it anymore. It's like a twisted chenille kind of yarn. So you learned that trick from me, Tina? It really works. It really works, I'm telling you. And you can use all kinds of fibers and stuff if you do that. Tie it together. Helps control things. You can even use it for like wool, wool batting or wool roving. Wool roving, not batting. Wool roving. Okay, so we're gonna give her. I'm gonna start here. It really helps if you have time to let this stage of it set up, before you come back. It will frustrate you, which you will watch me be frustrated by this, just saying. And you can bring this down as much as you want over the eyes. If you don't want their eyes to show very much, then glue the hair down a little bit more. If you want their eyes to show, glue it higher on the head. All right, so this one, oh, let's see, what other colors do we have? Wonder what we could do with this funky stuff. Looks like dreadlocks, doesn't it? Oh, that's funny. This could be funny. This could be very funny. We'll see what happens. And your fingers start getting glue on them. And then it starts sticking to the yarn, and yeah. Can make you say bad words, people. So I'm not responsible if you say bad words. I'm not taking responsibility for that. Okay, so we're going to let that set up. All right, let's come back to Odivern over here. Looks like a hairy spider. That's right. Okay, so we're going to wrap it around to the back like so. So it's going to have the appearance of her hair being pulled up with a kind of a bun type thing on her head, on the top of her head. But remember, if you're going to turn this into a pin, you have to allow a space back here, someplace where you can glue the pin back onto the polymer clay. So you got to leave a space blank. Don't be tempted to fill that with hair, because if you do, you'll be sorry. All right, so there is the beginning of that. So I'm thinking she needs, she needs a little something something in her, up inside her bun. You're welcome, Sherry. All right, so these are just little rosebuds that come in got them in a bunch. One of my dog's bellies is just making all kinds of racket. I'm telling you, it's so loud over here, you can't imagine. Both of them are in here with me. And their tummies, I couldn't figure out what the noise was. Their tummies are growling. So when I clip them off of the wire, sometimes they come apart. So I kind of have to spend a little bit of time putting them back together, with a little bit of glue and so forth. Odivern was a real person. It all started, their names all started with Harriet, who was this one, the green face. Harriet was the first doll that I did, the first pattern I did. And Harriet, she was actually inspired by a greeting card, which if you saw the greeting card, the doll looked very little like the greeting card when it was finished, but inspiration comes from funny places. And she was holding a heart. And so the whole Harriet, Hillary, and Hannah all hold hearts. And if we get to the end of this, what time is it? 3 o'clock? We're doing pretty well. If I need to take a break here, I'll go get the 3 dolls and show them to you. But Harriet was the first one, and so she's holding a heart. And then the others just had to have hearts as well. So they were the heart girls, the heart sisters, although they're not sisters. Okay. So there's Odivern, and Odivern is a real person, based on a real person who was quite a character. She actually worked for somebody in my family. So there is Miss Odivern with her updo and her rose in her hair. So there is Miss Odivern with her updo. She's pretty cute. She's a little bit lighter in real life than she's coming across on the camera. So yeah, if I want to pull more of this around to the back, I could, or I could just let her have more flyaways. I think she looks kind of cute. This one needs a little bit more glue back here to hold it back where I want it. So yeah, Odivern was a receptionist for somebody in my family, and she couldn't spell worth a bean, and she was a terrible proofreader. She was very nice, but boy, she had her drawbacks, and you just never knew what she was going to say. She was quite a character. All right, so there's that one. So let's go to this one next. You like the dreadlock girl? All right, so on this one, I'm thinking she's just too funky for words, so we're just gonna make her have like a mohawk looking thing. Why not? They're funky. That's what they are. They're funky faces. They've gone from fun faces to funky faces. For me, when I'm doing dolls, I'm doing faces, the hair is the greatest challenge of anything. Far greater than doing the face. So we're going to give her this mohawk look. But I'm feeling like she needs a, you know, she would have some real wackadoo thing. So we'll just put a big old flower on her head. Why not? Don't you think? Yeah, Cheryl, have you read the bios on my in my Creating Faces book? All the dolls in there, which are needle sculpted, all of those dolls have bios and characters. That is one of the things I enjoy doing when I do a doll, is to give them their personalities. So it'll take a little bit for this to dry the way I want it, but there is Miss Harriet's face. So there's Miss Harriet. So she doesn't technically have a mohawk, she just kinda has a mohawk. But once the glue sets up, everything gets a little more stable, and also you can go back and add more glue if you need later down the road. All right, so this one, I'm just going to put her hair up also. I don't know why they're all feeling like they need kind of these updo, wackadoo things today, but you know, it's just what it's just kind of what they're feeling like. So I don't fight it. If you fight, let me tell you something. If you fight a doll, you will not win. Because doll figures have very, very specific things in mind. Let me just tell you that right now. If you're going to argue with a doll, you're going to lose. You will lose. I'm looking in my bag of stuff for what she wants in her hair. Don't ever, ever, ever argue. Never argue with a doll. Because they will insist. They will insist, and they will get their way. Yes, they will. Bye, Bunny. What's the humidity? I'm reading the chat for a minute. What's the humidity? What I missed what you were referencing. Oh, the hairstyles you mean? So these are little flowers. I buy these in the fabric store, and I buy them on a when I find them, I buy them on, you often can find them on ribbons. And so I generally buy a yard or two of those. If I'm into doll making, I buy a yard or two of them. And then I just cut them off and use them. Okay, so this is Hillary. So this is Hillary. Sherry wants to see a bird nest on top. Well, their hair kind of looks like a bird nest, but it would be cute. It really would. Hi, Brenda. It really would be cute. I don't have any, but they would be cute. And I'm too lazy to make one today, huh? Now we have this girl. All right. I have to glue this down a little bit better here. While this glue sets up, I'll go get the dolls and show you where these spaces originally came from. I wish you could hear the dog's tummy. You probably wouldn't want to hear it. Okay, so I'm going to let that set up for a minute. So let me go and I'll get the dolls and show them to you. So, put my little be right back sign here. Anybody watching the recording, just fast forward a little bit. I'll be right back, okay? So hang loose, everybody. Okay, sorry. That took me longer than I anticipated. Whew, sorry. All right, let me put these, move over here a little bit. Alrighty, how am I going to show these to you? Let's try. Let's try this way. Okay. Okay, this one that you're looking at here, this doll, I'm trying to get her up where you, yeah, that doesn't work. All right, hold on a minute. I gotta refigure where the camera's gonna go here. All right. Sorry for the camera adjustment. I'm just trying to get them up high enough, camera up high enough that you can actually see her. Okay, maybe you can see her now. This is the original Harriet. So this doll is, this is the doll that this face came from, okay? So this face originally was this doll right here. This was where she came from. So this is Harriet. She was called Harriet's Heart. She has a heart in her hand. Okay, so this is the original Harriet. And then she has some companions. They're also Harriets, but in different poses. So these were all made as part of a show one time. So there's the other Harriet. So they're kind of like the speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil, but they're Harriets. So this is Harriet, and that's the face. The one that we did today was this little green version, but that's the same face. But you can see how different they are when they're used in different renditions. Interestingly enough, this is the same face here, exactly the same face. This doll was called Always a Bridesmaid, and so this is who she is. Same exact face, and she was called Always a Bridesmaid. So this is the Harriet face. Okay, so there's that one. So let me set them off. And there's a story that goes with each one, of course, because that's the way it is. Then the original Hannah is this doll. She is tall. She hangs on the wall. That's why I gotta hold her back here just so you can see it. She hangs on the wall. Her little feet are kind of flipper-like. This is Hannah, and this is the hand-drawn face that inspired the stamp, which is, this is her face in the form of a stamp. So this is Hannah's face. That's the hand-drawn face. That's Hannah. And the story behind her, you see her arm full of, she has lots of hearts. And this doll was created, I created her at the time, many of you might remember the Littleton, Colorado school shooting, and my son had just gotten out of high school not too long before that shooting occurred, and that just was a very impactful situation for me. You know, my heart, well, you can see the heart is broken. My heart was absolutely broken for that situation and so forth. Anyway, so Hannah was the doll that was created from that experience. And so from that, Hannah took many, many different versions. So this is another Hannah. So she has a completely different look about her than the first one. But all of the Hannahs hang on the wall by way of a loop. So there's Hannah. Then I use the Hannah. This is actually the stamp on her face. So this is the Hannah stamp on her face, and this doll's name is Elisa. She also hangs on the wall. She has very long hair, but she has a ring on the back. You can see that it hangs, so she hangs. And she has very long hair. This is actually from a sweater that I unraveled. So that's how she got the look of that hair. This is Elisa. She has ballet feet. This is another version of Elisa, but they both have Hannah's stamp face. But you can see how very, very different. Just because you use the same stamp or the same face, you know, just by changing change the hair, change, you know, whatever about them, you make a completely different expression, a completely different figure. You know, if you turn the corners of the mouth up, if you turn them, you know, leave them straight, turn them down, you know, you get completely different looks. This is Hillary. I only have Hillary in one version here. She hangs up. This is Hillary, and she is as dusty as all get out. But she hangs up like this. But you can see the three girls, Hannah, Hillary, and Harriet, all carry hearts. This one is a hand felted heart. So that's felted, but that is Hillary's face. And Hillary's face is this one. That's Hillary's face right there. Okay, so that's Hillary's face. And she's the one that we did in silver with the red on top of her head. So that's Hillary. But she hangs up. She has wings. Her wings have bead puffing. And so she hangs up, and she has her little feet float behind her. Most of my dolls have multicolored hair. I don't have multicolored hair, so my dolls do. So that's Hillary. And then this is Odie Byrne. And yeah, Odie Byrne sits in a chair. She's quite a happening kind of gal. She sits in this chair, and she has a mirror, and she has on leather shorts that this is pleather, you know, some kind of fake stuff, which is disintegrated. So they now look like distressed, distressed. But she has a saggy chest, and she's wearing leather shorts and high top tennis shoes, and they're decked out in gold. And she has on a quite a fancy top. And Jamie, what Colleen, I missed. Yeah, her music fabric was cool. Her shoes originally were keychains that I found. So that's what that came from. Anyway, the story behind Odie Byrne, if you look at her, I'm going to tip her so you can see the top. Her candles, she has candles up there, which they have seen better days. That's what's up on top of her head. She went to her hairdresser to get her hair frosted, and she came home with a cake on her head. She went to celebrate a special day and to get her hair frosted, and instead she came home with a cake on her head. So that kind of sums up Odie Byrne in one fell swoop. Yeah, and Odie Byrne this is Odie Byrne. So this was Odie Byrne's face that we did. And I know the camera's not focusing right, but you get the idea. So they're all based on, and this was stamped, the face was stamped on the cloth. And yeah. Oh, I could have multicolored hair. Right, Colleen, sure I could. Whoops. Sorry. I won't make you sick as I bring the camera back in. Okay. So those are the dolls, and then I have them in other versions as well, but those are the ones I could put my hand on. So that's what where these came from. So now you know the rest of the story. So the stamps were actually created for use on the dolls. Yeah, she did. She went to the hairdresser and came home with a cake on her head. Okay, so meanwhile, back on this one, she did. That's what she did. That's what happens sometimes. Colleen's a hairdresser. She knows these things. It happens sometimes. All right, I'm looking for a really thin strand of yarn. I want a color though. I don't want red, and that's what I have. Maybe we'll do, I don't know, maybe blue to match her face. We'll use blue to match her face. That'll work. Well, Colleen, I'm glad that I make you laugh. Because that's the point. It needs to be fun. Life is just too damn serious. I didn't even do my whole drama-free Friday thing. I was afraid to after last week. Thanks, you guys. I was afraid to after last week. We got bombed by a troll last week. Had to get out the band hammer, I'm telling you. Had to get out the band hammer. Took 2 of us to ban that puppy, but we got it done. All right, sorry. Didn't mean to pull that over so you couldn't see. Yeah, so we'll probably do some doll classes. I'm thinking that it would be a good class. At some point, we'll do a class on Elisa. She's a fun doll to do, and pretty much anybody can do her, even if you're not experienced as a doll maker. Okay, so I'm just pulling this up. The glue has set up enough that I can get away with this. Pulling it up, and I'm going to tie a bow here. So she will have a ribbon. I don't want it that far off center, however. I'm going to attempt to tie a bow with this yarn, which is textured, don't you know? Yeah, we got them both banned, but it took a while to get it done. Got it done. I don't know, maybe I'll leave those alone. Okay. And then, don't you know, she wants to have something in that. She needs something there. Let's look in the magic bag. One could have been John, you know. I think he put the pox on me. I'm pretty sure he put the pox on me last week. I took that story down so I wouldn't have any more issues this week. Okay, so that's too big. All right, too big. Let's try again. Too big. Let's try a different one. See, this is where I can get lost in. I get lost in the sacks of stuff. Yep, the band hammer came out. Let me tell you, ban that puppy. Boy, it took a while. I was wishing that Race had been here. Let me tell you what. He'd have gotten that job done a lot quicker than I did. Oh, that'll be fine. That'll be fine for you, Miss Hannah. That'll be fine. But no, Race was out. Nicole, were you surprised when you got back from your trip? Did Race show you a surprise or anything when you got back? And there is our quartet done in a completely different colorway than the first one. So there's this one. There's this group. Okay. And here is, so let me put these in order so you can see them done different ways. My philosophy is, what God hath not wrought, I bought. That's right. My story, I'm sticking to it. Okay, let me get out of the picture so that you can actually really see them. Shall we? Let's arrange them all nicely. Right? So here we have, on the left, we have Odie Byrne. We have Harriet. We have Hannah. And we have Hillary. So there we go. There's the girls. All decked out wherever it is they're going to go. I don't know where they're going, but there they are. So you guys like those? And it was done in a true mixed media kind of way. Sorry, talking too much. Take a drink. They're done in true mixed media fashion, in that they're done with clay and yarn and flowers and what have you. So yeah, there they are. So I'm thinking that maybe we should have a couple drawings. What do you think? What do you think? All right, now I don't know how bad the lag is today. I truly do not know how bad the lag is. What I'm going to do for this drawing is I will select at my choice. You don't get to choose. Partay. They are ready to go partay. Yes, they are. What we're going to do is we're going to play the number game, and I'm going to pick one of these, and I'll put a pin back on it, and so you can wear it as a pin. So I'll put a pin back on it, and I will send you the rubber stamp that goes with the face. Okay, so I'll send you the image and the rubber stamp that goes with it, and we'll do 2 of those. No choosy, Jamie. What is your name? Oh yeah, you answer to anything almost. Okay, so we're going to choose in numbers, and nobody put any numbers yet. Okay. Vicki, I'm going to say it. So this is just for the chatters in the live audience. Okay, sorry about everybody that's not here in person, but come on by next time, and you never know, we may have another giveaway. I don't do giveaways very often because I'm really bad about trying to get to the post office and get everything mailed, quite honestly. So it's a real stretch for me. But anyhow, I digress. So we're going to put in numbers. We're going to choose numbers between 1 and 50. 1 and 50. It is the closest number without going over, and it's the first person that gets it. So if 4 people get the same number, it's the right number, it's the first one. Okay? That's how it's going to go. Amy's good, right? So it's 1 to 50. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Don't do it until I put it in the chat. I'm going to, and I don't know how bad the lag is, so we're going to just go. We're just going to go until the numbers stop. Ready? Set. Okay, so you guys go till whenever. Just keep on going. You got to be logged into the chat in order to vote. Please excuse the barking dog in the backyard. You can only do one number. You can only do one number. Numbers are slowing down. The numbers are slowing down. Lag's pretty bad. Okay, I'm waiting. I'm waiting so everybody gets a chance to vote. Pick a number. It's a bad laggage today, huh? Lag? What lag? Yeah, Brenda. What lag? Lag? It's lagged? You're kidding me. We've never had a lag. All right. I don't see the numbers coming in anymore. So we're going to say stop. So the numbers are in. Okay? So the number that I chose when I was not looking at the chat was 28. Your dog's just charged the back door. That's funny. All right. So we got to look here. Vicky, help me. Help, Vicky. Vicky's good at doing this. Eileen has 27. Okay, does anybody have 28 on the button? Don't see anybody with 28. Looks like Eileen to me. Does anybody say? That's okay, Marion. No problem. All right. I think it's Eileen, right? All right. Eileen. Sorry, I was looking at my dog. All right, Eileen gets 1. She had 27 first. Okay, here's the deal. Eileen, you gotta email me your address because I don't have it. And when you email me, that's how you get to me, okay? That's how you email me. All right, so that's Eileen, right? Got that. I'm feeling generous today. I'm feeling generous. So we're going to do it 3 more times. You got a 1 in 4 chance of getting this. Well, you know what I mean. Okay? Watch the chat. Watch the chat. When you see the word go in the chat, then you can vote again. I'm feeling generous, people. I'm feeling generous. Eileen, you can't vote again. You only get to, if you win, you only get to vote during that one. You guys, the numbers aren't coming in very much. Slowly, the numbers are trickling in. Slowly, the numbers are trickling in. You guys, we either have a terrible lag or I've lost my audience. I see your number, Nicole. I see it. I saw it. You got it in there 3 times, Nicole, but you at least use the same number. That's okay. Yeah, you wait till you... What you want to do is wait till you see the word go in the chat. Yeah, when you see the word go, that's when you vote. Okay, anybody else? The numbers seem to have stopped. Oh, I see Cheryl put one in. The last second. Cheryl, you just barely got in. You very barely got in. All right. When you see the word stop, any numbers after that aren't applicable. All right. The number this time was 42. 42. So I need to know who got 42. Close to 42 without going over. Looks like Mindy got 41. That is pretty darn close. Did anybody get 42? Nope. Looks to me like it's Mindy. Congratulations, Mindy. Congratulations, Mindy. Yeah, terrible lag, I know. I'm giving everybody plenty of time. Yeah, Miss Mindy got it. Okay. All right, I'm going to go in slow motion. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to do it again. When you see the word go in the chat, you have to see the word go, you get to vote again, okay? When you see the word in chat, the word go, closest one, not going over. The closest person not going over, the first person to get it. We're going to do this. After this one, we're going to do it one more time. I'm going to do 4 giveaways today, people. 4 giveaways. I'm feeling generous. You got to take advantage. Got to take advantage. Muppet. I got to go let the dog in. You guys keep voting. I'll be right back. Okay, you ready? I know, I'm feeling generous, people. I'm feeling generous. The number is 14. 14. Who got close? Jillian has 10. Janice is 12. She's very close. Sherry, you got 14 on the nose. Sherry Shabing. Shabing is her name. Okay, so that is Sherry. Sherry, are you listening? You got to email me right there. I need to know your whole thing, your name, your address, the whole bit. Okay. So Sherry Shabing, Sherry Shabs. All right. Got it, Sherry? Gotta wait till I see her acknowledge it. Where are you, Sherry? This lag must be something awful today. You gotta respond. We're almost out of recording time. Uh-oh. How much time do I have here? Wait a minute. Let me see. No, we're still good. We're still good. Did she get booted? I see her still in chat. There she is. Okay. All right, I see her. All right, we're doing it one more time. This time we're going to go between 1 and 75. Okay, let's shake it up a little bit. Between 1 and 75. between 1 and 75. Wait till I type the word go in the chat. Closest person, first person to get it. That's how we roll, people. That's how we roll. All right, you see the word go. You get to put in one more number between 1 and 75 because I'm feeling extraordinarily generous today, people. Extraordinarily generous. Between 1 and 75. Everybody pick a number, pick a number, pick a number. Between 1 and 75. Dixie, pick a number. Between 1 and 75. Closest one without going over. I feel like a carnival barker. Not to be confused with Bob Barker. When the numbers quit coming in, then we're going to do... pull the number. I'll show you the number and we'll figure it out. And then we're going to be done. Because it's almost time to go. All right. We done? Has anybody heard, while I'm waiting, has anybody heard anything out of the Baltimore crowd today? I was gone last night to Soul Sentiments. When I came home, Claus Man was watching the girls in Baltimore and laughing. It was really funny. It was really funny. He says, they're all drunk, he says. He says, they're all drunk. I said, well, I don't know. He said, you should have seen the bottle of rum Paula showed. He said, she says it wasn't open, but I'm not sure. All right, the number is 62. 62. We need to know who got close to 62. Who got close? Looking, looking, looking. Close to 62. Bridgeton got 60. Does anybody see anybody? Oh, Jean spilled paint all over her shirt. Oh, that's funny. Does anybody see anybody closer than Cheryl Bridgeton? Okay, Cheryl said it was just for show. It was funny, though. He's going, they're all drunk. He was teasing, though. He was teasing. All right, does anybody see anybody closer without going over than Cheryl? Nindy Click did 62. Where are you, Nindy Click? Oh, you did. Yes, you did. Okay. Sorry, I missed that completely. Nobody had it before Nindy Click, right? I don't think so. She was the first one. You nailed it on the button. Sorry, Cheryl. Sorry, Cheryl. Okay, there's my email address. Nindy Click. You'll need to tell me your screen name and your real name and your address, okay? All right. So that was fun, huh? That was fun, don't you think? Oops. I gotta get, sorry. Bad camera work. Bad camera work. Sorry. Sorry. Sherry, you can't win twice. Sorry, babe. You can't win twice. Oh, APG got 65? Did she? Wait a minute. Did I miss it? Artist Poet Girl got 65. Oh. She got 65. But the number 62. Yeah. Number 62. Nindy Click got it. Yeah. Nindy Click got it. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here this afternoon. It was really fun to have you. Me and the girls, we're just going to hang out. We're hanging today. And it was fun having you all here. Hope you had a good time. And yeah, I will see you on, let's see, next blog post goes up on Tuesday, so check that out over at HowToGetCreative.com. A tips and tricks video goes up on Thursday, And this rebroadcast, if you want to watch it on the website, or yeah, it goes up on Sunday. So anyway, we generally try to have things out Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And the sponsors, yes, I forgot the sponsors, and oh my goodness, that will never do. A sponsor sighting must be had, mustn't it? Okay, let me move the girls out of the way here. All right, so the sponsor sighting is about to happen. I feel like I should have a drum roll, you know what I mean? Whoa! Oh, mercy. Oh, busted out of there. Busted out of there like a bat out of hell, didn't he? Are you coming up here? Oh, hello, Charlie. Come on. Well, I know it's a bad life you got in there. Being locked behind door number 1, it's a bad life. Oh, my goodness. It's a terrible thing to do to a cat. It's awful, isn't it? Just a crime. It's a crime, I tell you, to be locked behind door number 1. Whoops. Sorry. Wrong spot. Wrong spot. I'm trying to get the right camera here so you guys can see him. Yes, it was a crime, I tell you. A crime was committed against all catness. Yes, against all catness. Oh, yes, and against you too, wasn't it? Don't show your parts to the world. Don't show your parts to the world, okay? Get up here, Charles. There we go. Okay. Charlie has just come for his close-up, apparently. Hi, Mitzi. Thanks, Lori. You too. Have a great weekend. Well, he's really close to the camera. He came for his close-up. Are you ready for your close-up, Mr. President? You got crud in your eyes. Oh, goodness. We cannot have the sponsors looking shabby. No, we can't have that. All right. Can you scoot back just a smidge so they have a chance? Oh, you took one of the babies with you. Shame on that. Oh, yes, for all catmanity. That's right. It was a crime against catmanity, wasn't it? To be locked in there. I'll tell you what, it's a sad thing when you get locked behind door number 1 for that long. You just about died in there. I know, didn't you? You just about died in there. All right. And with that, we will say, so long, farewell. And I don't know where, see, Chance has already gone back in. There he goes. He's over here. I thought he'd gone back in the room, but no. All right. So, folks, thanks for joining me. Thank you very much for joining me. It was great having you here in my studio for a Friday afternoon, and it was even drama-free, so there you go. So, yes, I know. He's telling me about it now. I'm going to stop recording, so hold on just a minute, and I will chat with you just another minute, but I need to stop the recording.